Much like 358 Days, the gameplay couldn't be properly ported into consoles and just be relegated to just cutscenes only, and if you can't tell from the intro of the video, this game has already bored me to death. And for an FYI, this is actually canon to the timeline, just weeks after Kingdom Hearts 2 ended. This game was originally only for smartphones, though exclusive only in Japan, with each chapter being released one at a time from 2008 to 2010, and it wasn't until the following year that it's been released on the dual screen worldwide as a full remake with some extended plot. During everyone's downtime following Kingdom Hearts 2, Jiminy Cricket examines the entries in his journals with certain entries that he himself doesn't recognize, with one page saying thank Naminé, while the other says their hurting will be mended when you return to end it. Mickey has the journals digitized for analysis, but upon doing so, the system is then corrupted with a virus, preventing the team from examining the entries. So to remedy the problem, Mickey creates a digital avatar designed to look like Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, called Data Sora, and send him to each journal entry to rid the virus and get information on each entry. Each entry is more or less retellings of events that already happened in Kingdom Hearts 1 and Chain Memories, with some events being altered and certain events not appearing at all, as it is just the smartphone game's only available contents remade into the dual screen with little additional content. It's mostly Data Sora going through each entry and getting rid of the viruses until the very end of the game, in which he reaches the journal entry regarding Naminé's involvement. The data version of Naminé reveals that her real self was the one who created the message in Jiminy's journal right when Chain of Memories ended, with the purpose of it is to tell Mickey that the lives of Terra, Aqua, Ventus, Roxas, Axel, and surprisingly Xion can be saved, prompting Mickey to write and send the very letter that Sora, Riku, and Kairi were reading at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2. As for the hidden ending, Jensen warns Mickey that due to the destruction of both Ansem and Xemnas, their resulting defeats will bring about the revival of Xehanort, and the only way for Xehanort to be defeated again is for Mickey to bring forth both Sora and Riku to take the Mark of Mastery examination, which will be brought up again in the next game, ending Kingdom Hearts Coded. And that's the whole story of the game in a nutshell. To sum it up, the story is really boring. Enough said. But how's the overall gameplay of Coded? I'll give some benefit of a doubt that the gameplay, while not as boring as 358 Days, it still feels somewhat bland. How, you may ask? You're controlling a data version of Sora going through the various worlds that you've already been to in order to rid of each of Jiminy's journal entries of the viruses, including Olympus Coliseum, because who can't get enough of that world, right? The overall mechanics are a mix of Kingdom Hearts 1 with some of Birth by Sleep's command deck system, though it is more nerfed in comparison, as many of the moves that you can perform are just those from Kingdom Hearts 1, and about a few of Birth by Sleep's techniques, throwing some versatility out the window, and your moves play on Birth by Sleep rules, in that no MP is necessary and your moves can enter cooldown. Even though you still have that trusty Keyblade on your side, the battles themselves are not too spectacular, even with the Birth by Sleep style attacks, and the only time you'll ever have the two Musketeers to help you at all is when you reach the game's climax, and in an ironic twist, you can't take them at all with you to other worlds, despite them being with Sora the whole time in the real world. As far as raising Sora stats go, it is done by the way of the stat matrix, where you allocate stat points that you gather as you play the game, in order to raise your attack strength, defense, and learn more techniques in magic, similarly to the sphere grid system of Final Fantasy X-1, only you're just grinding for points and not for different types of spheres, and it sure beats the heck out of 358 Days' grid system. Aesthetically speaking, since the game is ported from the smartphone, the company could have done better in making the designs more vivid. In 358 Days, as boring as that game is, at least you have some space to run around, while in Coded, just about every area feels more enclosed. You'll spend most of the game destroying viruses to get to your destination or using them as platforms, which are so awkward due to both lack of camera options as well as Data Sora having a 1-second delay each time he jumps, and some virus blocks will outright hurt you, like actual Trojan viruses that will bypass antivirus programs and hurting your PC. Basically, each world you enter, you're somewhat backtracking in that particular world until you come across a digital anomaly in that world, and there is more than one opening to stop the viruses in Heartless. The digital anomaly is a gauntlet of Heartless that you need to take out, and you'll be doing this throughout the game, which can get boring really fast. The only thing interesting about the digital anomaly is that you can place bets on the amount of stat points that you can get, depending on the stipulation given to you, such as defeating the anomaly in a faster time, and should you be successful, you'll get more points to use for the stat matrix, though I don't bother betting on them as I can easily get more points on a normal basis. Once that's done, you can then enter the keyhole of that world to stop the world's boss and restore the environment. Unlike 358 Days, Coded tries to be like past games by throwing in different minigames and gimmicks, though they are less satisfying. In Traverse Town, you have this auto-scrolling platforming section which is so bland that will make a certain red plumber feel embarrassed. 2 sections in Wonderland, with the first one being a maze where you can't let any of the Queen's guards see you. Solid Snake, Sora is not. The second section in Wonderland is a shooter section in which they try to emulate the second arcade classic Space Harrier, only they suck at it. And finally, in Olympus Coliseum, it pays homage to Final Fantasy VII itself, and even Cloud himself is actually useful in this game. Still hate his guts though. But even then, don't expect the flashy moves from Final Fantasy VII and onwards because you won't see them in this game. Honestly, I don't think it's necessary for the developers having the need to go over the edge by implementing these minigames. I'll give credit that it is ambitious for them to do this, after seeing how 358 Days turned out so bland in gameplay, but these minigames in my opinion should have been reserved for Kingdom Hearts games meant for the big screen. Overall, while it's great to see the gameplay have some of Birth by Sleep's mechanics implemented, and leveling up in the game is way better than 358 Days, it still isn't enough to give me reasons to replay the game again. And while the graphics are passable for a dual screen game, the design choice as well as the pointless story until the very end leaves much to be desired. This game warrants a 6.5. The gameplay itself isn't really bad, but after playing through Birth by Sleep, this game took a few steps backwards and made the game somewhat bland. More power to you if you like the game or just plain curious. It may not be as boring as 358 Days gameplay, but the game overall is still boring in comparison, and you'd much rather watch the cutscenes only version of it on the PS3 and 4, even though the story sucked as well. We're almost done with the Kingdom Hearts Marathon, folks. So up next in the marathon, we're going to be looking at Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. Initially released for the 3D dual screen, though it eventually got a port of it for the PlayStation 4 via the 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue. I'm also debating on whether or not I will include the Kingdom Hearts movie back cover, which is actually the prequel to the entire thing, along with its smartphone tie-in, Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, either at the end of the Dream Drop Distance video, or give it an entirely new episode. That's still up for debate. So let me know in the comment section below on whether or not I would make a new episode or just include it at the end of the Dream Drop Distance video. And you can also leave a comment as to whether or not I should do so, either on my Facebook page or my Instagram account. Until then, this has been Musashi X, and I bid you all farewell, take care, and stay tuned.